All right, here we are. We have with Stefan, House of Adamant, self-made entrepreneur. He's wearing his own merch right now. Like, show him that really quick. Look at that. Super dope, yeah.
So you see the Jaguar right here.
Don't ever tell me you've seen a shirt like that anywhere, because that is a unique design. You got it. You just look like he's wearing everything that he made, basically. Like, it looks dope.
I'm telling you, man. I know we've been trying to do this for a while, by the way, so I appreciate you for having me on.
Of course.
I know I had a lot of fucking different things to do, so
So,
to get it.
we talked a little bit before. He's a good guy, but he doesn't like chocolate.
No, I'm not a chocolate guy. I'm more.
Your stock just dropped 10%, by the way.
I'm more of a vanilla guy, I have to say about myself. Like, yeah, I have a very particular taste, given my clothing line. If you go online and check out House of Adamant or follow us on Instagram or whatever, you'll see we have a pretty unique taste and different outlook on the shit that we do. So,
how did you come up with the name House of Adamant? Because that's a powerful name for any company, anything.
I'll be honest, man. It took me probably a year until I got it to the point.
A year?
A year.
What was it before?
Honestly, was the hardest thing to do. Before, you know, because when I started this, it was me and my brother. And my brother's name is Constantine.
Okay.
But his middle name is also Rose, if you translate it. And my middle name, my name is Stefan. So we really wanted to take that approach of Italian house, like an Italian fashion house. And we were going so we're going for Don Rose Di Stefano. But I thought that was
holy crap.
Yeah, I thought that was too long.
Yeah.
So I was like, nah. And here's what happened. My brother
Don Rose Stefano. That's another great name, actually, to be honest.
Sounded cool.
Strong name.
No, it sounded cool, no doubt.
This podcast is Life with Pary, simple to the point. That is sophisticated. Yeah.
The thing was, I thought it was a little too complex and a little too much, you know. So then my brother one night was looking to words in the dictionary, something that.
You actually looked at the dictionary?
Okay. Trust me, we went to. If I took 1 year, it was probably out of my business. Yeah. It was the hardest part to do, to find a fucking name.
I mean, so you must have stopped because you found Adamant, which begins with an A. So you must have stopped really early and looking in the dictionary. Or did you look through all of it and laugh? Like,
well,
come back?
We were taking it by, okay, what would sound this, that, luxury. Yeah. We're looking at luxury, we're looking at unique. And then Adamant came along, and Adamant stands for two things. One is a rock very similar to a diamond. Much more rare, but much more precious.
Okay.
Given
yes, sir. I didn't know it was more rare. Okay.
And if you look at the logo, that's kind of why the A looks like that, to kind of shape it up.
Show them really quick. Yeah, that's a.
I don't know if you.
I can see that.
They're only upside down.
Upside down there, yeah. Right. But flip it. I mean, look at his Instagram. You can see the real deal right there.
And so I thought that was very interesting. But also as a noun, it means somebody who is basically against or doesn't necessarily accept an idea. And that was very important to me because I hate following trends.
Why?
I like creating them. I don't like following them. Ever since I was a little kid, ever since I went to school, you know, I see people following trends. For example, if you remember back in high school, there everybody was wearing the Air Jordans, the white ones.
Yeah.
Everybody. I hated that shit.
You did?
I wasn't with that shit. I wasn't fucking with it. So for me, it was all about being different, standing out for the car. I never
had Jordans, so we can afford those. But I know exactly.
Oh no, me too. Me
too.
But it was one of those where I really wanted to stand out. I never had a problem with being in the center of attention. Much. And being confident within myself. And I really wanted to push that. I really wanted to have the individual stand out, wear something that will bring attention to you, and basically, you know, represent yourself in a different way. And then, of course, we had to add a purpose to it. The reason why we have, if you're gonna check out House of Adamant, you're gonna see that we talk a lot about animals and endangered species. And so
I was gonna ask how you choose your animals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, how we choose the animals, we don't have a particular order. I honestly I started with animals that I thought would be popular and that people would be very easy to attach to. You know?
Okay, yeah.
And I picked Rhino.
A little closer to you so I can get this. Sorry, I didn't. Yeah, go ahead, we're good.
I picked Rhino, I picked Gorilla, I had the Jaguar, and I had the Tiger. And we put them on these unique tunics that one of them you see me wearing right now. This is the Jaguar M1. And we try to create a best product. Make sure that it is different than what you see out there. Make sure that it is unique. And without a doubt, spreads awareness of the animals that we're talking about. And yeah, that's, in a nutshell, that's pretty much why we created the company, where the name comes from, why the name was so relevant to what we were doing. And
you really thought this through. Oh my gosh,
yeah. Trust me.
Yeah, he gave it a fair bit of thought. I was just like, man, what sounds good? I mean,
I've been into it for, we're going on the 4th year now.
Congratulations, dude. That's really cool. And he works with the other Stefan, who's actually been on this podcast before too. So now you know the key to starting a clothing company is you have to immigrate here, be named Stefan. That's all it takes.
That would be, if you know, it's funny.
And he knows him too. Like they know each other.
It's funny, but you know, with clothing, see, because I don't want people to get this wrong idea.
I do. I'm just kidding.
I never really saw myself necessarily as a designer. I was more interested from the business perspective. I really wanted to build something, create something. Fashion was just a very easy way to express myself ever since I was little. Clothing was something very important to me. I always like to dress up differently. But interestingly enough, you know, what we do now with streetwear, when I started out, I was actually into formal. Blazer jacket, suits.
Oh really? You made those?
Well, I've tried to make them.
Oh, okay.
I have videos and content. You know, I can show you how I was trying to build an entire collection with blazer jacket and suits and that.
Yeah.
I couldn't find the talent, unfortunately. It was very expensive and I didn't know what the fuck I was getting myself into. Wasted a lot of time and money.
Listen, that's everyone when they're first starting. Nobody gets into any of this stuff and they're just like, man, I know exactly what to do, I know how to do it, and I know where to go. Nobody has ever said that.
But ironically enough, you think you do.
Yeah, that's the crazy. Like even like when I started comedy, I was like, I am the funniest guy alive. And then I actually got on stage and I started doing it. And like I saw other people who were doing it like better than me, and I was like, okay, you're the funniest guy alive. You're the funniest. I was like, wait, how come everyone's the funniest guy alive? And I was like, wait, there's a lot more to this that I just did not know.
I think it's one of those, man, where, but you know what's interesting in kind of if like the interesting thing about all these lessons that, at least from my perspective, that I've learned, you get to figure out what you're about. You get to figure out what you really love. The more things you try, because fashion wasn't the only thing I tried. I tried coding for a while. I tried to learn how to do coding.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
When was that?
The same time.
Oh, okay.
A lot of things, like even now.
Did you go to school for it?
Nope. Listen, it's very easy. It's very easy in today's, like, with the way technology is, it's very easy to just type how to code.
Oh yeah.
And a bunch of websites will pop up and that teach you how to code.
Oh, I was telling people even like for music, I was like, I think going to college for music is like a waste of time, because you can already do like, what are you going there for? It's like you're not gonna learn how to play an instrument by reading a book. Like you can learn everything like at home. Like I feel like when you're gonna pay all this money for like an education, you should pay money for something that you can't just do by yourself. Like you're not gonna learn medicine by yourself. You can't just start like doing surgery on a mouse.
It's funny.
And it's like, oh, this makes sense. Like no, you're not doing
Funny you brought it up. You know, my outlook on school. I just started going again now.
I just finished.
I took a break of a year and a half.
Good for you.
Because I wanted to develop myself. Because I wanted to focus more on this brand that I'm trying to build.
So it wasn't a vacation. You were doing it to work on other stuff.
I was working.
Yeah, no.
I was working and hustling, making connections, going every which way possible to figure out things, because, you know, clothing is not the only thing I do. I have other businesses that I'm interested in, and that's the beauty about me. I have a lot of interest and hobbies, but it's a blessing and a curse at the same time, because once you figure out the few things that you like, it's very easy to kind of lose yourself in all of them and not make them right. You know, like
yeah, you can either do 10 things like well, or you can do 10 things like okay, or you can do one thing really well. Yeah.
And that's kind of my problem. You know, I like a few things to do, and I'm not doing any of them well because my attention is
everywhere.
Focused, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty about being young and being 23 years old. You're allowed to do that. You have time to figure shit out and just, you know, build yourself properly. And I think that's kind of the most important things for us young guys to do.
Yeah, this is the time to be like, this is when you become really risk oriented. This is not when you play the safe game and like, you know, this is not when you safely get a house, safely get a car. No, this is when like you risk starting a business and you risk starting everything, because it's like,
I agree with that 100% because we all have responsibilities at this point. Right?
Yeah, like there's nothing holding. I mean, like some people have kids. I mean, all right, I get that. Like shit. So some people have other obligations, but it's like there's nothing that's like tying you down to where you are right now. But it's like if like our parents, it was like they got kids, they have a house, they have a mortgage, they have a bunch of stuff that they have to keep track of. Like right now, like we don't owe anything to anybody. Like this is the time to try everything and like fail and learn. And because you're not losing anything. Like what? Like.
And to this subject, you know, everybody got their own story and whatever situation, responsibilities, whatever you gotta deal with. But I feel like at this age, you have a lot of energy. You have a lot of energy and you can do it all.
Like this is the age where you can like eat Timbits and eat like junk food, but you can still continue and focus and you can still do everything.
As long as you work out, you're gonna be.
As long as you work out, yeah. Like, I'm not gonna advertise like eating this stuff every day. I'm just saying like you can eat junk food at our age and not die. Like you're not gonna be sluggish the next day. You can actually keep going. Like you can live in like a pretty, like not like a luxurious environment. Like I don't know. This is the only way I can just say it. Like this is the time to be super risk oriented. This is when you start the band you want to do, start the company, start the like me for me doing stand up. Like the fact that I'm doing it now, like I wish I started earlier.
Well, yeah, no, I do agree with that, but
I started early, but I feel
like once you figure out what you want to do in life, or kind of have an idea of what you want to do, you always say that to yourself, man. Like
exactly,
if I knew this shit 5 years
a while ago, yeah.
But you know, I've studied a lot of people, and I looked up to a lot of entrepreneurs, celebrities, and I've studied them. I read books about them. And I am surprised of how many people just figured it out after their 30s, like not even within their 20s, and
just like that.
Crazy. And that kind of gives me a lot of motivation for somebody like myself, and especially of us young people out there that are.
You don't have the table, like shaking the camera.
Oh, yeah. For a lot of people that are starting their journey right now and figuring things out and kind of want to start a company in whatever field, or you want to be an artist of musician,
whatever you want to do,
painting,
you want to do.
If you figure it out now, more power to you, man. Go for it. You got time, and time is in your side pretty much. And
there's no rush.
And there's no, you know, that's like, the problem with us. With us young people, we're fucking impatient as fuck, man.
Oh, I mean,
myself included.
Everything, because everything is like immediate. Like if you wanted food, you don't even have to even like the most favorite food that you love, it's like a seasonal thing. It doesn't have to be seasonal anymore. You can just like watch it. You don't have to wait for a show to come on TV. You can just binge.
Pretty much.
Like you don't have to wait for anything. Like even if you want to go on a date, just swipe right.
No, man.
You don't have to wait for anything.
5 years ago, this was not at this level. And this is why, like for me, this is what it's very intriguing. You know, I taught myself, and you've got to do this, man. You've got to practice patience and look at it from a long-term perspective. Like, I've started, when I started my clothing company, I started with a lot of guys that always also wanted to do it, and they went into different routes. One of them went luxury and shoes. Others went into jewelry, etc. Excuse me. And within 6 months, because they didn't see results or they weren't happy, they dropped it.
We all know.
And I'm telling you, I'm very one out of a school of about 10 guys. I'm probably the only one left that's still doing what he's doing. And I'll tell you why. The difference between me and those guys was they were looking at it at a very short time period when they were gonna reach success. And I very well understood that it's gonna take a lot longer. And the second thing, I wasn't motivated by money or power or fame. I was motivated by the thing that I love to do. Like I really enjoy the process.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a very important component to keep in mind whenever you do something. Be patient.
Whenever you do anything.
Be patient, man. Be patient. Give yourself the time, because
it takes about 10 years to become an overnight success.
Fuck it.
So, like, even when you have like new like artists and new comedians come out, they didn't just start doing it. They've been doing it for the past 10 years. They just made something really good now.
Are you familiar with Russ?
Russ,
the rapper.
No, I'm not.
Ah, man, you gotta check the guy out. He's
okay.
phenomenal. But to the people that know about this guy, he's only peaked last year.
Okay.
Like, he started being famous last year. 100 million views on YouTube and shit like that. Like,
that's how you do it.
But the fucking guy has been doing it for 10 years. And
yeah, that makes sense. Yep.
You know, so it's a long fucking journey, man. Just don't expect it. You might be one of the lucky few that gets it done in a year. Good for you, more power to you.
Yeah.
But don't expect it to come easy. And
it's
just
more fulfilling if it's like more of a challenge too. Like
yeah.
if it's a big challenge, you can like get over that like obstacle. You feel better. It's like, man, I did that.
It's 100%.
Yeah.
100%. And the beauty of it, I feel like you learn so much throughout the journey. And that's what keeps me always going. Is the fact that I get to sit down with you and have a conversation, and we just met.
Yep. And yeah, this is the first time we're meeting each other in person. Like, this is what it is for most of the podcast too.
You know, so to me, that's kind of very interesting. It's very interesting, and it's what keeps me going every day.
Oh man, the people that you meet. It's one of the logics that I had when I started this thing was the first time I ever got on stage for stand-up ever. It was like I was at Michigan State University. That's where I went. And it was open mic night, just like a student union, and my mentality was, okay, this is like right before winter break, so I was like, even if I crash, burn, and fail, everyone who's here right now is gonna graduate, so no one's gonna see me anyway. That's what I did. And I was like, so even like if things go really well, they go really well, but even if things go like really bad, at least I'll know. Like, so that's part of what fuels me forward, is that like my fear of regret is greater than my fear of failure. Like,
that's good.
I don't ever want to think.
That's a
like,
very good perspective.
Yeah.
And you know, I never said it that way.
Yeah.
But I agree with it 100%. And I'm not one of those people to have regrets, man.
I was like, even if I fail, it's okay. It's like, now I know. Because if I just don't ever try, oh Lord. Because like my mom is an occupational therapist. She works with a lot of older people. And that was one of the biggest things she told me, was she was like, when you see someone who's like 80 years old and they have regret, it's the saddest, most like scary thing you'll ever see.
It's a sad thing.
Because nobody ever, like, here's the way to look at it, right? Like when you're, like, I don't want to say I spend a lot of time around old people, because I don't, but like the few stories that like my mom does tell me about her patients, like this is the advice they would give to a young person. And one of them was when you are 80 years old, right? Nobody ever says, I wish I spent more time at work. No one ever says that. They say, I wish I spent more time with my family. I wish I spent more time doing what I wanted to be doing. I wish I did this. No one ever says, I wish I made more money. No one ever said that.
100%, man. And honestly, this is why I think this period of our life right now, from when you're 16 to when you're even 29, that's an early period. Figure out what the fuck you want to do, man. Go for the things you love. Try things. Fail as much as you can.
Fail now.
Try to do a vlog. Try to do a podcast. Try to do being a model. Whatever.
Our battery's dying, so my bad. Give a few shout outs really quick.
A few shout outs. Well, here's the thing. For those of you interested in talking to me, I'm open.
He's awesome, yeah. Message him on Instagram.
Anything about networking, business, if you want to start something, I got you. I'll figure something out. You want somebody who can make a video? I got connections.
Yeah.
We know people. So follow me on House of Adamant at House of ADAMANT. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook,
everything.
Anything. I'm there. DM me. I'm always looking to talk to people. So.
Yo, man. So
thank
you guys for watching. Thank you for coming out.
Appreciate you for having me, bro.
All right, man. Stay fresh. Stay golden.